All you do is run your mouth. You don't do things.
What's going on, my dudes? We're live again. A little later this week, just because we were here Saturday. We need a little extra time. You know, all that work and stuff we do. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, one of us
just made sense. All of the work we collectively do is a lot. So,
oh man, I now want it to be my goal to like push it every week. I'm gonna wait until you're like, you ready to go tonight? I was like, I think I need 2 more days. Sorry.
That's it. We're Monday night every time, 7 o'clock sharp, or Luke's dying. Was there any news that you wanted to discuss?
No. Is there? Well, I mean, I guess no news.
There was something interesting I saw. Netflix has won the auction for Failsafe, scripted by Joe Robert Cole, who wrote Black Panther. Also potentially starring Michael B. Jordan. So I think that's a big win for Netflix. But from what I see online is Netflix's attitude of just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks is not garnering them any
it's
love
I
on
saw
the internet. Besides, for me, I think it's awesome.
I saw that
something
article
for everyone.
like Netflix is now focusing on sci-fi and something else, and I was just like, oh, you're just focusing on like these low budget movies. Like sci-fi has always meant like we have an idea and you can throw a little bit of money at it, but not a lot, and we're gonna make 1 billion of these, and maybe 2 will be good. Like I'm so over the Netflix model right now, I guess. I don't know. I haven't even had Netflix in like 2 months. Whenever I finished Jessica Jones and I haven't had Netflix since then. So,
like you just canceled what?
What?
Or you just haven't opened it? Like you canceled it, or you just haven't opened it?
Well, like I password sharing. You know, like I gave my sister my Prime account and I had her Netflix account, and she was like, "I can't afford it. I'm closing it." And I was like, "Okay, I'll get my own." And then she's like, "I don't need you, Netflix. Until I need you, you're not there."
Seems like you're gonna need it in a couple weeks. Because guess what's coming back?
It's not a couple weeks. It's like
18 Reasons Why is 2 weeks away.
Oh
or
no.
13 Reasons
Oh no,
Why.
no. I thought I had to like June when Luke Cage came back or whatever, but I guess we'll see where we are in 2 weeks.
We properly lead us into it. I'm surprised you didn't want to watch Lost in Space.
Oh, I got a lot of.
You just weren't down for it.
It was real fun. I thought you had been like, "Here's my 13 reasons why," and then just like shot yourself.
No, I'm surprised you didn't want to watch the Lost in Space reboot.
Dude, Lost in Space. Do you remember the last Lost in Space reboot with Matthew LeBlanc? Because I do. Yeah, Heather Graham and Gary Oldman.
Oh, I was thinking of Galaxy or whatever, the one with Tim Allen.
Galaxy Quest?
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
Close enough. It had to be better than that last. No, Lost in Space is done. Although, like, it's reached that point where, like, I don't know what the internet is anymore. Between, like, Thanos and then the Lost in Space robot, everyone's like, they're so sexy, I want to fuck them. And I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, it's actor the last few days for sure. So, like, just give me a reason to be thirsty, and I'll fucking just throw comments your way, I suppose.
Just, they got that
thirst. Crazy.
It's
fucking crazy. So, you got everything watched then for this week?
Sure.
What didn't you watch?
Don't do that. Don't give me that side eye.
What?
I definitely fell asleep watching Siren right before the show.
Or Black Lightning watched?
Yeah. Literally, like,
start there. Where?
the only thing I was doing was like, cool, all I got left, because like I started watching Siren on like Sunday, and I was like, I need to take a break, and I paused it, and I came back to it today, and I was like, nope, just passed out during it. Like, I think
I was awake. I was working on my comic like 2 nights ago. It was like 2:00 in the morning. I was like, I was so hardwired that I was like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep, and like I might as well just get through these shows. And like, as soon as I hit Siren, I know what you're talking about because like it immediately just started dropping off. I was like, oh fuck, I am so tired. I got halfway through. I'm like, I'm so tired. I can get through this though. I can get through this.
See, there was just no fighting for me. I was like, yeah, whatever, this is happening. Guess I don't need to finish this for the show.
No, let's start with Siren. So what'd you think of Siren?
I don't know. I think this show's bad and not the good way anymore.
You know, that show's really turned around and just is like, what a mess.
They promised me mermaid genocide, and they have not given it to me. So fuck those guys.
I'm interested because they showed a preview clip, and it's got like a mermaid hand reaching around like the corner of like dry land. So it's like, do one of them not change fully back when they come back? So
and what they do?
That's the only reason I'm
on the fucking beach. Like, no, this show's dumb.
I told you we should have given up when they returned to the water and been like, "Oh, it's a happy story for three."
You
were
the one who was like, "Let's keep doing it." Yep.
No way. I said, "Let's quit," and you're like, "I think we can make it."
I think it's the exact opposite. Plus, you were the one who wanted to watch the show to start with, so this is all on you.
I did not force you, and you came at me and you said, "All right, we're watching it." I was like, "All right, fair enough." I am perfectly fine just dropping it if you want to drop it.
Probably. Did they end up having sex yet? Or is she
Nope.
just still kissing everybody?
Just, she awkwardly kisses the dude this episode.
Yeah, I saw that, and she awkwardly kissed the girlfriend last episode. And then, like 3 episodes before that, she awkwardly went to bed with them at the same time. Like, they gonna fuck that fish, but it's just being real weird about it.
Yeah, so let's give up on it. So we're dead with Siren.
Sorry, Freeform.
I was really thinking you were going to lead me along like you did with Black Lightning. You'd be like, no, I'll get caught up. You just keep watching. And then, like, I didn't finish. Fuck that show. And I'm like, you son of a... You wasted hours of my life.
I could still do that, technically. I could wait a couple weeks and, be like, I was bored one day and caught up, and it's awesome. You should finish.
Fuck you. We're not doing it.
Well,
I am mildly interested in Cloak and Dagger, though.
Well, what? It's going to be like 2 weird episodes out of the front and then string me along for 3 more before I give up?
Fairly certain. So what did you think about Black Lightning, then?
It's weird. I liked it, but basically by the end of the season, we're back to where we were at the beginning of the season. Like, there's been no momentum within the, like, so much of that first part of the season was like Black Lightning coming back to stop Tobias and Tobias trying to take over. And then they just took this break where it's like, now the government's involved, and we got rid of the government, and now Tobias is in power, and Black Lightning's trying to take him out. Like, we just took this little stopgap in between, and then stayed stagnant towards the end.
What's so funny is I think they had... It's almost the reverse of the Netflix effect, whereas I think they had probably 3 seasons written out well. And, like, they didn't know halfway through if they were getting picked up again, so they're just, like, fucking chop out the bits and, like, let's crush this into 1 season. and like it just got too messy.
Yeah. There's still stuff I like within it, but I also like one thing that drives me crazy is like you should trust that like people who watch the show are the ones who've watched every episode, I suppose, because I'm so sick of the goddamn effect on Thunder when she breathes in. Like I get it. I don't need to hear like the like I just don't need it. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really something else. That whole cabin standoff was just a real big. It felt like it didn't coincide with the rest of the season because like they're actually with weapons ready to kill people that are coming after them, and like I don't know, it just felt way out of place considering the rest of the season.
Well, it also, you know, kind of felt out of place at the end when Gamby just guns that guy down in front of everyone else, and they're like, "Cool, thanks." Like, it's very odd.
So, if it does come back for a second season, I don't think I'm going to go.
I don't think it was bad enough to be like, "Oh, I'm out forever." Like, it just got a little messy. What was still good was the stuff I liked. You know, like I really liked the episode where like they planted the drugs on Pierce and was arresting him and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool to see the connections he had made because of his status in the community and like all the people that he's helped him, even though he was eventually helped out by Gamby and Thunder doing the hologram protection. So I don't know, really weird. I liked it enough, but I think it's probably going to try warping into the other series that like it's probably going to get way too convoluted if it does get picked up again.
It did get picked up again, and I don't think it's going to get... I think it's still going to be its own little thing.
Now I've got to put my money where my mouth is, and I guess we'll be watching season 2.
Nah, we'll see. It'll be a while. But I mean, you know, I don't know. It had what you wanted. There's powers every episode.
Yeah, but when it got way too heavy into the family side of things, it fell prey to what the gifted was, and like it just not necessarily meaningful content. It felt much more filler than actual.
See, I felt that it was only these last couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's out of 13, it's like there's like 3 that were kind of just like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, compared to The Gifted, which was the opposite, which 11 out of 13 were that mess. So
that's lies because Polaris was in every episode. So,
listen, you're a son of a bitch. Spot. Can't do anything about
whatever. Wait till season 2 of that comes back.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I am. So I don't know what to tell you. Yay for me, I guess.
Yay for you.
So, what do you think of Westworld now that we're back into season 2?
I don't know how you're gonna feel when I say this, so because I know you're all into like AI and like this is your jam right now, so I know you love it, and I don't think I mean it as an insult, but it really feels like Lost right now.
No, I'm with you. I'm really with you, and it's to a point where I think they have a good idea of where they want to go. It's that they have to go back and they have to do some world building for a couple of the other characters. So I think the first season was heavily on Dolores, and I think this one's definitely going to be heavily on Bernard. Where to the point where they're actually showing like I think they're going way back in time and showing his part. Where where next season will probably be Hannibal's again. I can't think of this damn name.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
He only signed on for 1 season. I know way
Oh,
they're getting
really?
him back. Yeah.
Do
Apparently,
they know?
he did
Do
1
they?
season, and he'll occasionally do voice work if they need it. That's why, like, you can hear him talking but never see him in these episodes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do they know how many seasons they have so far for it?
They just got picked up for season 3.
No.
Hard
Which
to
is
tell.
really odd because I think the last few HBO shows have already been picked up for the next season, previous to the current season, like even starting to air.
It's
So it's
weird.
odd.
Who knows? But
So
there's a lot of like, there's disparate groups of people on this land, and they all kind of cross paths with each other. No one really talks to each other, and we're using flashbacks now because we're not hiding the fact that we have alternate timelines. Now so we're gonna go show you this flashback to inform character beats and maybe story plots that'll come forward. It's just like, I've seen this.
What feels so weird about the second season starting out is it feels like they're trying to pull what Legion season 1 was, where it's this chaotic mess that you're not quite sure where you are. That I don't know if they can pull off. Which they have 10 episodes a season, right?
Well, like, I don't know where they're going with it either. Like, yeah. I don't know. What is this valley beyond that they're trying to get to? And because, fucking Ed Harris is like, it's a weapon and it's my biggest failure and I need to destroy it. But I mean, from the flash forward, it seems like it's a lake. And from the flashback, when he's like, I want to show you something, and it shows him building a lake or the sea, you're like, what's going on here, guys?
It's gonna be a baptism in consciousness, and these AI robots are gonna gain souls.
Who knows?
He doesn't want them gaining souls. I don't know. I'm really intrigued by it, but things have started falling apart because some of the flashbacks have shown things that I figured were in different ways, which probably is a result of me actually watching the trailer and like getting hyped for the season more than I should have. Because going into that first season, like not knowing anything with no expectations, like probably built my love for the show a lot more than I should have, I guess. Especially with Legion, how it's not as chaotic and crazy as that first. Well, it still is, but it isn't at the same point because it's much more. It feels much more stable and realized.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really intrigued by Westworld. There's that really great scene in the first episode when Bernard asked Dolores what is real. And like they came back, and he said that anything that was irreplaceable, and like that probably hit me a lot harder because like that's probably my definition of it. But you can replace these people, I guess. Like you can replace them with bots, but does that do them gaining consciousness through all these updates, whatever, is that still a soul per se? And like that's the part that I'm hinting on now, and it's like, I don't know, torch them so we don't have to deal with the question, I guess.
It's not. I mean, like, the problem is like they want me to believe in probably be semi-sympathetic towards these robots, but they still don't have any character that wasn't programmed for them. Like, Dolores keeps going on and on about this stuff, but I still don't see any hints of who she is supposed to be versus who they programmed her to be. Same with with Maeve. Like you're supposed to feel for her. She wants to go get her child, but that child is programmed. It's not really her kid, and the feeling she has for it is just fake memory.
The even better part of that is I believe like when they showed Maeve in her escape plan was actually a programmed set of things for her to do. It's like you can't believe anything you see anymore. And like that's what I'm talking about with the Legion season 1. Like it's become such a clusterfucking mess that like with the slog we went through with Lost, if this falls apart quickly, I could very quickly turn my back on it like I did Game of Thrones, just because I'm not willing to put my time in on that again.
I love how you act like it's just like it hurts you to like watch
It does.
Like, no,
like no. Like don't take my words and my actions in different contexts. Like, I set aside so much time to watch these shows, whatever. Like, I'm not going in. Like, I enjoyed this podcast. I like talking about all this stuff. But if I were just setting aside weekly time to watch all this stuff, like, I'd probably just wait and binge it, even though I hate doing that. Like, so I don't know. It's such a weird reality I live in right at this moment.
Maybe you're an AI.
It's possible. I don't know what's real anymore.
Fucking hair.
But you also get this like 13th floor like type of drama that like you don't know what framework is real and whatnot, and like who's to say the real people in Westworld are actually real, or their hosts that were made? I think that's probably going to come up, and like it's at that point who cares about these robots playing all these games with different robots? Like, not me.
Well, in the end, you also have to realize, like, who cares about robots playing these games with people? Like, is there anything for us really to grasp onto?
Yeah, I think that's what was the strongest point of the first season, is because the human aspect showed us how awful humans are all the time. But, like, robots gaining consciousness to be just as horrible as humans, like, I don't need to see anything like that. Like,
and in the end, like, at this point, like, how much of what we're watching in the park, excuse me, is like robot on robot violence? Because, like, outside of like the maintenance, which it looks like headquarters was thoroughly trashed and ravaged, like, it seemed to me that there wasn't very many people in the park. They were holding that fundraiser for the opening of the new story or whatever, and it seems like most of those people are kind of gutted right now too. Like, so, you know, how much tension is there to see between Dolores, a robot, going around trying to turn these other robots to her cause?
Yeah.
You know, it's something. I'm sure it's probably only like 10 episodes again, so whatever. I'll get through it.
It is indeed something. So, but I think if it comes down to where we're just seeing it's robots and robots, like, I will duck out quickly.
Well, I know I'm betting before episode 6 there's going to be samurais, so I know you're going to be right back in it.
But yeah, if we get robots on robots before samurais, I out, because once we get to samurais, I'm hooked again. Like, I can't get away from that. So
you know that's where that fucking tiger came from. It came from samurai.
You're right. We're going through season 2 regardless. So let's deal with it. Let's buckle up and let's get ready for it.
Yeah.
That being said, I really did enjoy these last 2 episodes. Like, I've seen a lot of hate, just because it seems like they don't know what they're doing, and like I am giving them much more benefit of the doubt because the name at me, and I think that his stuff that he has written is really incredible. So I don't think he's going to this half-cocked like they did with Lost. So
yeah, no, it's whatever, man. Like, it's weird thinking how I view TV episode to episode changes versus how I think of it as an overarching season. It always has, so it's kind of hard. Unless something really sticks out, you know, a lot of it ends up being mushing together and the same until you reach their end point or their end game and you see everything came together. So individually, TV is hard sometimes. Which is crazy that our movie podcast has essentially become TV for a good chunk.
TV for the most part, yeah. But we cut one of those off, and Terror only has, like, what, 4 episodes to go?
Probably. I don't know. Somewhere.
And Legion, I think we're 5 episodes in now, aren't we?
Are we? Didn't 5 just drop yesterday?
Oh yeah, 5 was yesterday, so we have 6 episodes to go to that. So
yeah,
that and Lost in Space reboot that we're gonna pick up.
Fuck Lost in Space. I don't care how sexy that robot is.
It just looks like a Chitauri warrior. That's why I was so confused when I saw it the first couple times. I was like, why is everybody talking about... Oh, yeah, that's... Okay, I gotcha. That's fine. So, on to Legion, though. How great was this episode?
I wasn't a big fan.
This fucking episode. It broke me inside that... The benefit that I'm giving Westworld is not the benefit I'm giving Legion. I understand that. Because Legion is tripping me out at the moment. Like, so I spent the last month off of social media and, like, came back yesterday and watched the episode last night. Like, the community that I have surrounded me with comics and movies and all this stuff, like, I've basically neglected them for the last month, and then I came back into them. So, like, this whole speech that Sid had at the end of the episode, like, shouldn't we be fighting to save love? Because love isn't what's going to save us, but it's worth saving. And it's like, fucking just, this whole week's worth of stuff just kind of escalated into a weird transition for everything.
So. Sure. But also, Sid's argument is the same argument that Rose had to Finn in The Last Jedi, and you weren't a fan of that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. You were the one that hated that Finn wasn't able to sacrifice himself.
That's a lie. I didn't say these things.
That is the one time that that's why I love Rose as a character. I was like, that's what Star Wars should be built
on. Here's my problem with the episode is it took us a whole episode to get to that point. Like, there was at no point when we're going through this repetitive stuff were we gaining any new thing. You know, it was David watches all this and he's like, you're lonely. And she's like, nope. And he watches it all again. He's like, you want to be loved? And she's like, nope. And you keep seeing the same thing over and over. It just, it was a waste of time.
The interesting thing I find about that is you're predicating it on a fact that David is connected with her the same way he's been connected to everybody else, so he's just trying to figure out that puzzle. Whereas David and Sid have proven many times that they're more than just the one thing. That I think sharing time with the Shadow King has brought them closer. I think they're, dare I say, nearly the same entity at this point because they have that crossover. And I think it's fascinating to think that she wants David to fight with her now, but we've seen her in the future, like you were talking about last episode, that, like, if David's the thing that they need to fight in the future.
Who knows? Maybe Sid's the thing they have to fight in the future. Who knows?
It's possible.
The one thing I learned from this episode is, like, she's kind of shittier than you really thought. Like, all the ways that she kind of punished those people were very beyond the pale of what would have been considered acceptable.
I agree. I totally agree with that. And I think David was right on all accounts, and they all needed to be collected together. Whereas if he hadn't said that he was a junkie and used people and everything like that too, like, it would have been very poignant for him to be like, oh yeah, you're a real total bitch, but, like, he's been a fuck up for forever, and I believe he is schizophrenic and very dangerous. So, like, it's cool to see them come together to hopefully that love conquers all. But like, I guess we'll see because fucking the end of the episode, dude. When the credits rolled, I was like, we're fucking 40 minutes into this goddamn episode, and fucking Legion popped up. I was like, fucking classy move, FX. Fucking classy move.
It was nice, but in my head, the way I viewed it was, again, because I didn't like the episode as much as you either, it was like, we just took the sideway journey, and now we're doing the credits because the story is coming back in. We're moving forward. Now it's Legion again, and not we're hanging out in an igloo for some reason.
No, I think we needed an episode with those two just by themselves.
I don't know. I could have dealt with an episode of him hanging out with her as a cat. Like that would have been.
It's understandable. I think it was cool that the last few episodes. I think that's the problem that we were missing is because that first season, the scenes that they shared, they were very connected, and like you saw this close relationship that they had, and like this season, it kind of went ahead with the story without bracing itself, and I think this was what it needed to brace itself. Because I mean, you see him connecting with all the other characters, and it is this passing moment of him fixing them, getting out of there, and moving on to the next one, and where he can't do that with Sid because he shares a deeper relationship with her. So.
Well, whereas I was just like, whatever. I don't get to your point.
That's fair. I also missed seeing Jermaine dancing, so I mean that was a negative for the episode, but
it's a negative for the season on a whole. I've only seen it twice so far.
I agree, but Lenny's back, so
yeah, I'm super excited. Which is weird because that means she's free of his mind now, and this is Lenny? ? Because I still don't know what Lenny is in this show.
Yeah, because I think when we saw her and Shadow King talking, like, Lenny's its own entity, right? Like, Lenny's not the Shadow King that we previously thought, right?
I'd say that the Shadow King used her face for everything he was doing in season 1, but what it is now is that she is a consciousness he absorbed and used, and then like that consciousness is locked back in his head. So I don't know, because also like season 1 was so oblique about what, you know, Lenny and Benny were fused together, even though there was a Lenny. So how much confusion, like it's very confusing on what she actually was in that first season.
So it's interesting because when we were watching season 1, I was talking about this fact that when David runs into somebody and like basically collects them along into his soul, like he would have had to done that himself, and then like his whole soul like got too much to handle, and that's how he was able to get rid of the Shadow King. But the Shadow King probably held half of those, like with Lenny and whatnot. So. There's too much interesting shit, and going back to the whole Sid thing, it was interesting to realize that her mom must have been switching in and out a handful of times before that whole scene near the end when she was a teenager happened. Like that. It was a little jarring to see her mom react in such a way that like she didn't understand what must have happened.
I don't know. I mean, it never physically showed that the mother knew.
See, and that's what I think. I think that like they kept showing the baby like understanding that David was there, like because like it was her mom's consciousness in her, and like you don't get the shot of the mother's face holding the baby until that last shot that they did of her. And like it kind of seemed like Sid as the baby was looking at her mom as the physical baby because she didn't understand. It wasn't a look of joy, but it was more of a look of like, what's going on here? That like, and you didn't get that the times before. That like, it added little bits along the way where you could have done that quicker, but I'm glad that they took the time with it.
Sure. Sure.
Fuck
Whatever.
you.
Give me more people dancing and vaporizing stuff.
Listen, I'm for anything Legion. Like, I'm infatuated with this show, so I'm loving it. Every bit of it.
I need more dancing and vaporizing.
I also need more dancing, so that's Legion. On to the shows we watched, I suppose. Did you rewatch these movies then?
No, I'm going off watching them last year. All it was like, I wanted to make sure I was like, I know I talked about these movies last year in brief that I saw them, and now they're free on Prime, so you should watch them. And you're like, fine, I'll watch them for the show next week. So,
all right. So let's start with Florida Project, and I hated it.
I don't surprise me at all.
Hate's a strong word. I like the storytelling, but as far as the movie goes, it's kind of just a in the background type of movie. Like, there's nothing exciting. Like, it's kind of a fucking depressing shit movie. You realize this life that these kids are growing up in, and like their shitty parents and all that stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's so realistic, though. You know, like, these do exist. Florida is overrunning with these motels working as rent, you know, and jumping around from hotel to hotel, and these kids just the broken way kids are growing. They try and cope with it in their own kid way.
See, and this is why I like these conversations, because I don't think I dug that much into it. I was just like, oh, it's just shitty kids being shitty people. But, like, I guess their area they're in, the fuck, I can't think of the word. Like, the predicament.
Sure, situation there.
Situation, there you go. That they're in. Like, they can't help it, but they aren't, like, they're not relegating to not living it as a kid, so it was weird for them to see their friendship off and, like, just split a box of toys and just be like, fucking peace out. Yeah. But then again, it's these fucking kids would absolutely do that.
You know, like, there's nothing there, you know, but sure, that means you might break into the old row of townhouses that were built and start a fire by accident and burn them all fucking down. Or, you know, you might just hang out on a balcony spitting on someone's car and then call them a bitch when they call you on it. Like, those kids were so good. It's amazing.
All right, I changed my vote. I do like this movie. It's not grand, and I don't understand how Dafoe got a nomination for it, but, like...
What? Dafoe's work in this movie is amazing, and he should have won. He's so good.
It's just Dafoe being a dude.
No, it is. Look at what he's doing there. What he wants to do is manage his hotel. But what has he done is he's collected all these broken people, and he's trying to be a father figure to them. Even though he's a shitty father to his own son, when his own son comes, you see he's using these other people around him as a way to make up for his past mistakes and try and... He can't really reconcile that with his own son, but he can look out for these other kids he has under his wings now, both as the parents themselves are kids to him and the kids' kids.
See, and that's stupid. No. That point that you made is fantastic. That's stupid that I didn't dig into this movie that far.
It's worth looking. It's a little more than... I think if you just kind of put it on, it might be noise, because so much of it is just
at face value. It's just a really depressing movie, but I get what you're saying now.
You know, like, just think about the fact of like I think this was in my top 5 for last year. I don't remember my exact rankings. I know it was on my top 10, probably in my top 5. And I think outside of maybe Logan, that might be the most affecting ending to a movie I saw last year. This idea of everything's crumbling. I'm just going to grab your hand and we're going to run to the most magical place in the world. But even then, you know, it's false.
I definitely didn't care about that part until you just said that. Like, thinking about or saying out loud what actually went down is such a different sense in my mind than just what I saw. Like,
yeah, I think there's a way if you like, it's easy to internalize something and move past it, but if you start vocalizing it, you kind of it hits a little more maybe. But yeah, you know, like they've grown up in the shadow of what everyone drives to. You know, everyone's coming to these places to go to Disney World, and these kids just live in the shitty outside, and it's this thing off in the distance, you know, this aspiration of princesses and family and unity. And but even then, you know, it's all hollow and fake, even though those kids are running away to get away being taken away from her parents. Like, there's no...
And to what you were saying earlier, those fucking children actors were phenomenal.
Yeah, they're so good. And everyone's like really good.
Before they run off and grab hands, like, the fact that she can't get it out and, like, is getting so choked up about, like, her world just crumbling around her. Like, it's madness.
Yeah. It's good stuff. And there's some
really
hooking on the side. Yeah.
And there's hooking. So, if you have Amazon Prime, you should definitely check it out. It's a good movie. Put it on, forget everything else you're doing, and just pay attention.
Plus, like, if you like, I'm not sure how often you were like eyes up on it, because I know you like to put stuff on the background, which I do a lot of times too. It's a beautiful film with a lot of weird color palette choices.
Yeah, for sure. It's got a real pastel tint to it that, like, was kind of...
It gives it an ugly look, but a realistic ugly. You know, like, yeah, I would see a fucking hotel painted that fucking purple. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, just the random shit that he had to deal with, like the pedophile and, like, the fucking...
Come on, that scene is so good.
Dude, it is. Like, just rethinking about the movie, I'm like, fuck. The really good fucking strong moments.
Yeah, and think about that. All those kids were out playing by themselves with no supervision, except the father figure of Defoe who kept the eye on them and saved them from a fucking pedophile.
But I mean, your childhood was like that too, right? Where you were just fucking off the leash until the sun went down?
Yeah, but I also wasn't living off the interstate in Florida either, you know?
I mean, yeah. I'm just saying we were mostly unsupervised growing up to where we'd come home for supper and then, like, that'd be the end of the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If then.
So right on.
Yay.
So on to Killing of a Sacred Deer. This fucking movie was just too much to handle, for sure.
All I know is, like, I went and saw it at a 10:15 showing at night at Jordan Creek, and I was the only person there. Like, so... Come on, general anesthesia. That's going to stick with you forever, right?
Man, this fucking movie was intense in, like, every sense of the meaning. Like, I thought it was a horror movie going in. I'd seen it on the top of a couple lists from last year. So I was interested to see it. But knowing it was kind of a horror movie, I was, like, hesitant to see it. But yeah, it's really fucking intense, really good. Just the creepy amount of questions it puts in your mind, like, are almost too much.
It's just a lot of like, I'll say that for the director is, like, everything always feels a little off. And when he's doing this, like, you know, everyone has, like, this kind of flat tonality, You know, everything's very straightforward and almost robotic. All the environments feel very sterile. The camera is very weightless. It feels like a drone a lot of the time, so everything feels false and off
I
to a point.
think the angles that they were shooting though, like, made it very uh, obtuse, and like the music, like, unnerving, like, for the entirety of the movie, for sure.
Yeah, especially like that first half before you realize who this kid is and what's going on. Everything just feels very ominous. You know, like there was very much points where I was like, "Is Colin Farrell fucking this kid? Is that what's happening?" You know, like because you don't know what's going on, and then like, come on, when Alicia Silverstone starts fucking sucking on his
Dude,
fingers and stuff.
I almost text you. I'm like, "Oh fuck it, Alicia Silverstone's in this movie." I was like, "Nope, I'll let it go." And then the hand stuff, I was like, "Nope, nope, nope."
You
I'm
have
like,
real beautiful hands. Real weird.
It's so weird, so weird. And like the it almost felt like a mutant movie, like the way the girl seemed like she was being mind controlled. Um, there's so much about this movie that just doesn't settle right with me.
So it very much unsettled you.
Yeah. The whole concept of eye for an eye, like, but in the worst way, like, it's not, this kid's done something, but there's no way to sort it except for the one way he's offered, and that's to sacrifice one of his family for the one that he killed because he was a drunk surgeon.
Yeah. And shit just gets everything's really unsettling. Like when
So fucked up.
Like when that kid's tied up in the basement and then Nicole Kidman goes down and is like praying to him and like kissing his feet and stuff. It's so weird.
So, like, all of it is just too much. It's
I would definitely say go back and watch the director's other movies if you haven't. Like he always has that kind of sensibility, but the way he gets
what else has he done?
He did Dogtooth and The Lobster.
Oh, I saw The Lobster was one of his movies. I was gonna check that out. So
Lobsters does the same stuff, but it's really funny. So
now I'm gonna check it out. Damn it! I was just surprised to have like Colin Farrell show up. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And have such a serious tonality to everything he was doing. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Colin Farrell play a role like that.
Have you not seen Phone Booth?
No, nope. That's not a serious thing. He was just joking around.
His performance as Bullseye in Daredevil?
No. Really strong performances. I think this movie was meant to stir things up in people that, like, it was like Mother, where it kind of just it just makes you feel creepy, and it's like, ugh.
It's good. But see, this is a good tasting of like the stuff I'm seeing all year that I'm not really making you watch. Whenever it comes up for free, I'll make you watch these things. But
I'm down. It's so weird because it's like both these movies are like very your movies, and it's like these wouldn't be on a list of mine for anywhere. But like,
whereas like
I'm glad I watched them.
Again, like I know Florida Project was on my list. I'm very upset that it didn't get nominated for any more Oscars. Very underappreciated film. And Sacred Deer would probably be like my honorable mentions last year if I did honorable mentions. Like it was really close.
It's fucking crazy, for sure.
Shit is weird, and I like weird.
It is weird. So, you want to continue our discussion on Avengers?
You can throw like anything else you got. I'm pretty much the same place I was last week, and I haven't last week, like 4 days ago or whatever. And I haven't had a chance to see it again yet, so I'm kind of sitting where I was.
All right. So I know you don't like How I Met Your Mother, but I have to call on it for this metaphor for the most part. Have you seen much of How I Met Your Mother?
I watched all of it except the last season.
Okay. So when Barney is describing how he likes the Karate Kid, and it's the villain of the movie, and like how he got his ass kicked and everything, and like he deserves retribution and everything. Like his spin he puts on Karate Kid, you need to go into Avengers thinking that way. Where I've turned the corner and I think fucking Infinity War is a brilliant film. Because it's not an Avengers movie, but it's Thanos' movie. And like they didn't do his origin, they didn't do anything, but like he's working towards a goal and gets there. With so much obstacles in his way. And the fact that he gets there and the fact that he gets his ending, like it feels like Expendables 2 where fucking Drogo, the bad dude, and like he's back for number 2 and like they just forgive him. Like I feel like Thanos could be an Avenger in a later movie.
100% wrong, but okay.
I know it's very wrong, but like the vantage point of
like it's his movie, very much so.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to see it again to know that. I don't think that makes it a brilliant film, but I enjoy your metaphor.
I love the way that they wound it up, and like going straight forward into it, like you get the payoffs of everything they've built over the last 10 years, but seeing it the second time, I was all about Thanos' scenes, and like
Okay. So here's the problem, at least. Like, if I had seen 19 Ghostbusters movies, and then when all these Ghostbusters are going to come together, they followed Slimer around instead, I would have a problem with the level of Ghostbusters I had.
But Slimer was awesome.
Yeah, Slimer was cool when he kept showing up and eating a hot dog and then disappearing, or he's driving a taxi. You know, like how Thanos showed up and was like, I guess I'll have to get these stones myself. That's the equivalent of Slimer driving the taxi in Ghostbusters 2. Now, if we spend a whole movie following Slimer around, I'm sad that I don't get to see Bill Murray.
It's fair. It's fair and accurate. Also,
I want to live in a world where we had 19 Ghostbusters movies.
I would also be down for that. I think the fact that the writing is so strong for, like, we get a proper supervillain movie, like, and at the end of the thing, he wins. Like, it's something we don't have much of it in this whole superhero bubble.
Not much of, but it's there. You know, Joker won in Dark Knight.
Did he, though? He was caught.
He was caught, but everything he wanted in terms of sowing chaos, ruining Harvey Dent, bringing Batman down to his level and forcing him into hiding. Yeah, he won.
But the thing accomplished could be righted. Technically, you can with the Infinity Gauntlet too, but I think the fact that it's on such a grandiose scale that you're going to space and everything else, like, adds to its grandiose style.
Yeah, Thanos won, but we all know it's not gonna happen. No matter how much these dipshits fucking from Marvel try and be like, you should get on with your grief because these people aren't coming back. Bitch, I know there's a Black Panther movie coming. I know they are shooting Spider-Man with Tom Holland right now. These people are coming back. Don't try and bullshit me. You bullshit artist. You're a bullshit artist.
how great of a move would it have been if Sony was like they hadn't seen the real cut and they were just been like, "What you? The contract's null and void. You killed off our character without our say so. You don't get a second." And like they just pull that stupid promotion, like they just cut it out of the way so like nobody thinks it's going on, and then Infinity War Part 2 comes and everybody comes back and they're like, we were kidding. You get the second one.
I think it'd be so much better.
Or Black Panther, M'Baku becomes the Panther.
They're not doing that. These people are all coming back. So who's gonna be the Guardians of the Galaxy? Huh? We're gonna start over.
You got Rocket. That's all you need.
In Stallone's character.
They've already put it into motion that it's going to be Stallone's character, like the whole group.
No one would watch that movie.
This guy would, right here.
It's fine. It's fine. Keep bullshitting, Marvel. Keep bullshitting me. It's the same.
But you're getting upset. But you're getting upset because you already know that's going to happen because you've read comics for fucking 30 years.
Okay, here's the thing. Everyone I work with has seen it at this point, almost everyone. There are people in their goddamn 60s talking to me about it who are like, all these people are coming back for other movies. I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, that ending, I really don't get it then.
But
like, yeah, exactly.
But you're getting caught up in the fact you're thinking, you're putting the cart before the horse. Like, just enjoy the fact that the movie that they are dead, like, the villain won, and like now we have to rebuild.
No, the villain won, and now we're gonna beat him and negate it in the next one. That's not rebuilding.
Listen, motherfucker, you just need to no, because they're still rebuilding it for Ant-Man and Captain Marvel.
That all take place before Infinity War.
Yeah, I know, but
that's not
I'm sure there's going to be periods where they have the 90s version of Marvel and like she gets the call and then it'll be after Infinity War.
Which is when she'll come in the second one.
Yeah. But I mean there's some rebuilding. A little bit.
It's not
you think that they're just gonna shit. Like, this is the point that I'm going to contend. Like, when they track down Thanos and he's just sitting down looking at, like, it picks up exactly from where it left off and, like, they just punch him right in the fucking throat, then I'll be upset. But it feels like there's going to be some passage of time that they have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I'm not debating any of that. I'm just saying, like, all these people are like, oh, it's such a ballsy move to end a movie that way. Like, it would be if, like, I knew it was permanent, but it's not.
Yeah, but the society and cultural ramification doesn't allow that. Like, the trailer, fucking everybody living for trailers, like, when we were growing up, we had no idea a movie was coming until we saw it on the fucking marquee. Whereas we know when they start production 2 years prior to even announcing when the movie's coming out. Like, we can't escape that because this is what we're into.
Sure, and they make sure everyone knows that. Like, Marvel's holding these giant press conferences at goddamn Disney conventions for Disney fans and saying, like, here's all the movies we're making, suck our dicks. So, like, it's on them as much as anyone else.
But you're being real Nicole Kidman right now, where you're just praying to them and, like, kissing their feet, like, you want to know what's next, but I'm like, what do you get up there?
I know what's next.
I'll get up on that.
I know what's next. They're going to beat Thanos, and whoever's going to die is going to be one of the original 6, these guys whose contracts are up, and the new people are going to be back. And then the MCU starts again.
You're completely negating the getting to the point where they beat Thanos.
No,
you're so excited to be right that they're coming back that you don't care how they do it. Because I'm super excited about Nebula and Iron. Like, if we get Iron Man 4 and it's just them, like, working in a shop with each other's technology to beat Thanos, I'm totally down for that.
Sure.
If Thor takes fucking axe classes...
All I'm saying is there is a general not wait to the ending of that film. Like, sure, the bad guy wins, but technically, this is the bad guy winning in Act 2 because, you know, the rest of the movie's still coming because these are two big movie.
Yeah, but we already knew that. Like the third act isn't even here yet. That, like... I don't know.
I agree.
I'm glad for what's there, and it's a huge accomplishment for the last 10 years, and like I'm excited for what they built because we're not going to see another universe anytime soon because everybody sees how much work has gone into this.
No, everyone else will keep trying.
I mean, they're going to try, but they're not going to put in a decade's worth of work because they can't get someone to have the hammer fall on them if it's not successful. And I think that's the biggest accomplishment for Feig because he was the one that, like, he's held this vantage point for the entire way. Like, this is exactly what I want. And, like, they accomplished something huge with this movie.
Sure. I'm not saying anything against that. But, sure, whatever.
I understand that the consequences still aren't there, but I mean, we all knew that going in because it's a comic book movie. And
yeah,
all the Marvel movies up to this... It's true. It's true, and they possibly did with Loki, at least, and... Who else died before he had before the finger snap?
But, like, sure. And those felt more weighty than the... Yeah. I don't know. That end is just so weird. It's literally just like, here's the last 3 minutes, watch everyone die. And, like, slow pan over them and slowly die.
So your problem with the end of the movie is the people vanishing.
It's the ones who die at the end, yeah, because I know they're all coming back. We discussed this last week. Or Saturday.
See, for me, the movie ends when Thanos is looking over the skyline, and that's just an epilogue of people vanishing.
Whatever. Sure.
I get what you're saying, and I guess that would be unsettling. But like, I'm not harking. Like, to me, that's just an afterthought.
No, but like, there's that thing you see. Like, I'm seeing it everywhere, but everyone's just like, "Oh, it's a real ballsy move what they did with that ending," even though we know it's not gonna last. Like, there are people writing that. It's like, how is it ballsy if you know it's retroactive? Like, it negates. Like, it's the same as being like when they killed Wolverine in the comic books like 3 or 4 years ago, and now they're bringing him back already. But it's just like, no one fucking believes he's going to stay dead. Like, there's no weight to any of this. At this point, like, the only people who have stayed dead is fucking Uncle Ben. And great. I hope I never have to see him get shot in the face again. But if it means he's not coming back, I will watch Uncle Ben die again and again and again.
I hope that's what Carnage does. I hope Carnage comes back, revives Ben, and then shoots him in the face.
We could hope, right? But Carnage is attached to the Green Goblin right now, and he's the Red Goblin, and it's the
what?
I hate comic books.
Interesting. But okay, so take all the 19 Marvel films for the MCU. Is this one not the number one of those?
No. Absolutely not.
Really? What's your number one then?
Probably Winter Soldier. And I know the first Avengers is better than this one.
First Avenger?
No, the first Avengers movie.
Oh God, I was like, that movie was. I mean, where are we talking? I really enjoyed this. Okay, so you have the first tier movies where it's all their standalones, whatever. Then you have the second tier, which would Avengers: Age of Ultron, and this feels like that next step, where it doesn't have anything to compare it to, and I just have it ahead by a landslide because you need those other pieces to make it work, and I'm not sure you could go into this without having some of that background knowledge. and enjoy it.
Exactly. And does that make it a good film though? Like, what if you had watched the first Captain America and you were like, I don't like that Steve Rogers. He's not for me. And you didn't watch the other two and you came into this one, you would literally be like, what the fuck? I don't understand anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why I give it so much precedence, because, like, it's such a huge accomplishment. Like, you need those other pieces to fill in the spots. Like, they're just able to put together what we want to see, I guess. And this movie is similar to the Berserk movies that have come over the last few years, where it's just the high points of this long story that is told, that, like, if you want more of that story, you have to go find it. So. I know there's more to it, but I'm satisfied with what they gave me. To a point that it's a brilliant film.
Oh, no, it's not. Like, I can tell you right now, it's not brilliant. There's stuff I like.
It sounds to me like you hate it a lot.
Don't be going around fucking telling people I hated it.
Alright. That was total clickbait, and I apologize about that. But having Yad watch the episode and be like, listen, it was actually a really great review. Ox was clickbait, and I was like, I was, and, like, you should know that by now, but he didn't love it either, and I definitely love it, so.
I just have problems with stuff sometimes.
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's fair, and I like that we have... I'm glad that we both didn't exceedingly love it.
I will say that I love the Florida Project more than I do Infinity War.
Would you watch Infinity War before you watch Rise of the Silver Surfer?
Yes.
See? That's all I need.
Yeah. In a heartbeat. But a part of it also be like, I don't know, maybe I should watch Rise of the Silver Surfer again. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't have, but I did.
Where did you watch it?
No.
Because I want to be present for that, because I just... There's a whole amount of joy that when you get so pissed off when you see Galactus.
Big old cloud.
Which I hope they go cosmic with whatever comes after Infinity War, because that shit's fantastic. Seeing Ego realized and seeing Thanos, this Titan, fucking realized, I think they could really, if they get rights to Galactus, I think they could do it right.
I don't want to see him build towards something like that.
To a satisfactory level. Yeah, but I mean, they're the only jumping off point that can at this point.
Like, the best that I want from it is, like, I want them to be, like, the Guardians to be flying through space and Rocket to be look over and be like, oh, he's eating the planet. And it shows Galactus, like, eating the planet.
I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm totally cool with that.
That's all I need. But, like, if they're all like, yeah, and now Reed Richards has to get the fucking negative zone converter pack and threaten fucking Galactus with it, like, I don't need to see that. No.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And first of all, it'd be Spider-Man taking on Galactus. You know that.
No, it'd be Reed Richards. He's the only one.
No one wants to see the goddamn Fantastic Four. They're awful.
No, Fantastic Four is really good.
No, they've had 3 movies. They're cut out from the will.
Yeah, but they're 3 really bad movies.
They're really bad, yeah.
But it's our best chance of seeing Doctor Doom. And we need Doctor Doom.
I don't know if that's the case. I think we could get Doctor Doom into this world without having to worry about the goddamn Fantastic Four.
Doctor Doom.
I'm down. I want Doctor Doom.
And done right. But Doctor Doom is so tied in with Richards. Like, in his backstory.
What if they just showed that quick bit and then Dr. Doom just killed him, so I don't have to worry about Rubber Band Man?
What if they finally get the effects to look good?
They won't. There's not a chance with what we've seen these past couple Marvel films. Like, they're trying, and they're trying a whole lot, but there's that like last bit that they are like, fuck it, we got the rest of a good movie.
It's just like they make a photorealistic thing, but then like Mr. Fantastic looks like Banner's head coming out of the Hulkbuster, but like squiggling around.
It just cuts to an 80s commercial of the kid of Stretch Armstrong. He's just like,
yeah. I hope so.
They just start sweeting all their movies and just really low budget. They're like, fuck it, we're taking this back home.
I'd be a fan of that too. I would like if fucking Kevin Feige came out and was just like, okay, here's the movies we're doing, and he lists a bunch, and he's like, and they have budgets of $20 million, and just walks away. I'd be like, oh, I'm really interested.
Would that be like, listen, we're opening casting calls, we're doing the exact movies. We're doing the exact same movies, almost no budget, no names, but, I mean, fuck it. We're just going to sweet them all, so...
No, I would be so happy if they were like, we're finally announcing Doctor Strange 2. It's going to be a $15 million budget horror film set in fucking Mephisto's realm. I'd be like, what? Yeah, let's do this. Let's rein this shit in a little.
I'm in. So, what are we watching for next week then?
Well, that's a good question because there's nothing opening in theaters.
Fun fact, I'm going to see Super Troopers 2 finally. It's here in town.
Fun fact, I don't know that I'll see it before next week since I work this weekend. Unless we push the podcast back and don't do Monday. We're getting... I'm going to try and see Tully, the new Jason Reitman film. And I may possibly, depending on time constraints, there's a film called Bad Samaritan with David Tennant and the director.
Mark it down. It's going to be Mid City. I'll see it. Bad Samaritan.
You do know that it's Dean Devlin, right? The guy who directed Geostorm.
I don't know who that is. Oh God, fucking Christ! I've already committed. Let's do it.
You should not have committed.
We committed. Super Troopers 2, Bad Samaritan. One for you, one for me.
How's that even work?
And then we'll come back and talk about Infinity War one more time.
Maybe. I think the more I talk about it, the more I yell. So
it's true. It's true. You are much more bitey than you were last time.
I was very nice last time. Now I'm just like, fuck everybody.
That's surprising. I think it's just a mood thing for you, but you need to pick it up and accept how great a movie that is.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. And then, I don't know. I might text you, fill something out with like an Amazon movie or something, and we'll figure it out.
Sounds good. So we'll check you next week. All that stuff. Peace, pineapple, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You
want
to say something overtly racist?